Happy Wednesday, Tarrytown Tigers. So I wanted to get on here again and answer the question, how should we be feeling during all this? But before I actually answer that question, let me talk a little bit about feelings, okay? And probably the best way to explain feelings would be through the movie Inside Out. I know it's a kid's movie, I know it's fiction, but it's a great way to describe feelings and how they should be, okay? So the movie Inside Out follows this girl, Riley, and she's about a teenager, maybe 12 years old during this movie, and she's going through a move, okay? So that's a big event for anyone, whether they're a 12-year-old, a young child, or someone older. And we follow 5 feelings in her headquarters. Okay, we have joy, sadness, disgust, fear, and of course, anger. Okay, so Joy is the main character, and of course, Joy wants Riley to feel joy all the time, which we all want to feel joy and happiness all the time, but really, is that realistic? Remember, she's moving. She's leaving all of her friends behind. She's leaving what she knew behind. So really, feeling joy, should that be the top priority? So in the movie, sadness starts to take over, which Joy isn't really happy about because Joy wants Riley to feel joy, which makes sense, but we discover through the movie that it is almost impossible to feel a joyful feeling all the time. That's why the other feelings are there. If you've noticed, joy is not the only one in headquarters, that there are other feelings as well. So, and each feeling has its own purpose, okay? I'm gonna use another fictional story to kind of show how feelings have a purpose. There is a TV show that I recently watched during all this quarantine called Lock and Key. And it's a fictional story where they're able to use these keys to access different things. And one of the keys is to access their mind. And so this one girl, and again, it's a situation where they had just moved across country. So very similar, you know, very tough time for a child. And so she accessed her memories in her head to get rid of her fear. Okay? Now you think, okay, getting rid of my fear is a great thing, but when you get rid of it completely, it ended up not working very well for her. Since she had no fear, she was making very silly and stupid decisions. She almost killed her friends. This is, of course, a fictional story, because she wasn't afraid of a tide coming in. But as we know, when tide comes in, that's a very dangerous situation for anyone. So these feelings are all here for certain reasons, okay? So sadness is there to help us process through everything, and that's what we saw with the movie Inside Out. When joy just kept taking over, Riley wasn't quite complete, but when sadness finally took over, she was able to kind of process everything and figure everything out so that she could live her life. So with that, I kind of want to get to this one feeling that, because we talked a little bit about fear, we talked a little bit about sadness, about joy, and disgust is always there, but anger. Anger is probably one of the biggest feelings that's brought up to me as a counselor, okay? I have kids come up to me all the time saying, I have anger issues. And I do believe that very many people in this world do have anger issues. But the one thing I always ask the kids is it okay to feel angry? Almost 90%, I would say. I have very few who actually answered that question correctly, but when I just ask it like that, is it okay to feel angry? Almost 90% says no, it's not okay to feel angry. But then I start to explain, who in this world feels angry? And so they sit and think, and You're like, well, everyone feels angry. Okay, so since everyone feels angry, does Miss Burns feel angry? Yeah, Miss Burns feels angry sometimes. So a lot of kids don't believe it. They're like, I can't imagine you angry. But Miss Burns does feel angry. So is Miss Burns a bad person? No. Okay, so I feel angry, but I'm not a bad person. So again, the question is anger a bad feeling? Is anger something that we're supposed to be feeling? The answer is the feeling itself isn't bad. And I hate to give a bad feeling and a good feeling. Usually I kind of call them positive and negative feelings, but actually someone even described it better as a strong feeling, which I think is a better description of it. It's a very strong feeling, okay? It's one that we react to a lot, okay? So, it's okay for Miss Burns to be angry because she has to stay home, right? But is it okay for Miss Burns to start punching my dog because I'm angry? No. So it's not the feeling itself that's negative or that's bad, but it's the action that goes with the feeling. So when people say I have anger problems, it's more of you have a reaction problem. You just react to that anger very quickly. So it's learning to recognize when that anger feeling is coming so that you can control your reactions. That's the one thing that needs to be worked on, okay? So, to get back to my question, what should you be feeling during this time? The answer is, how are you feeling now? How you're feeling now is how you should be feeling, okay? It's different for everyone, okay? Some people might be happy that they're at home. I know I talked with my cousin who's very excited to be home because she's at home anyway. She runs a business out of her house, and so she's always home, and she usually has the kids at school, so she's happy to have the kids in school. And she's like, as long as they're learning, and she's even saying, I'm thinking about maybe even doing homeschool, which is great for my cousin. But some people are having a hard time. I keep seeing on Facebook, how am I supposed to be a teacher, a housewife, and work a full-time job at the same time? You're feeling overwhelmed. That's understandable too, okay? So everyone is handling this differently. And so how you're feeling right now is how you should be feeling. Same with the kids, okay? I've talked to quite a few kids who don't even really understand what's going on. So they might be happy this whole time. And that's okay. Just because there's a pandemic going on, it doesn't mean that you should be sad all the time. It doesn't mean that your child should feel angry. I know before all this happened, like whenever someone died in the family, I would have parents come up to me and say, oh, I feel like my kid's not appropriately handling this. But really, everyone just handles things differently, whether it's grief or crisis situations. Everything is handled differently. So talk with your child, find out how they're feeling, okay? And also, I'm always here, so I can always talk to them as well. Even if your child didn't see me before all of this started, give me a call, give me an email. I can definitely do whatever you need. If it's just one talk, I could do one talk. If it's just to get through this pandemic, but then when school starts, you don't want me to talk to them anymore. Or you might think, oh, I think that this is a great thing, just in general. Let me get this started. So that's what I'm here for, okay? So email me or call me to let me know if I can help you in any way. I know that answer probably wasn't the answer that you were looking for. You were probably hoping that I would say, oh, this one feeling is how you should feel. But life isn't that simple. So Feel that feeling, allow it to be there, okay? And if it's a feeling that you want, keep it. If it's a feeling that you don't want, try to figure out what you need to get to the feeling that you do want, okay? And it might not be something that's in reach while during this pandemic. So, good luck, everyone, and I hope that you learned a little bit from this and discovered that everyone's different and it's okay to feel the way that you do. So have a good short week, Tarrytown Tigers, and I'm still going to continue to make these videos. I missed last week. Last week was a little busy for me. I'm hoping that from these weeks on I'll be able to at least do one video a week. So if you have any suggestions of things that I should talk about, please feel free to email me about that too. And I look forward to seeing everyone when all this is done.